Hi guys, welcome back to those who've been following me for some time, and welcome to those who are new. As you can see, I'm being all a little bit holidayed out. This is my idea of a Santa. He's kind of wizardy type. I like that kind of energy. This is kind of more, and the funny thing is I kind of use him as a witch at Halloween, and now he's Santa. Since I'm not really big into Santa and stuff, I grew up with Kwanzaa, which my next video I am going to do an ode, just a little mention to what Kwanzaa is about and the history, but not the whole video about it. But I'll get into it since Kwanzaa actually starts on the 26th. I did grow up celebrating Kwanzaa, but I do Christmas, and I have heritage in with to do with Hanukkah, Jewish heritage. So happy holidays and olive gamut. Just know I understand no matter what you believe in. If you believe in zip and you're like Adela, I'm just gonna chill here and bury myself until this all passes. Or if you're someone who totally gets into it, I just kind of learn to respect whatever tickles your fancy. I am going to take my little holiday hat off because the subject matter I'm going to cover and do a little straightening of the hair, straighten it out. It's a little bit more serious, so I kind of want to respect it. So this subject I would like to cover is about having loss at the holidays, or how to communicate with the spirit world at the holidays. I don't know. The title may come up different than what I'm saying, but I mostly want to cover two things. I want to cover grief around this time and how you can connect to the spirit world at the holidays. I want to explain for people who haven't experienced losing someone at this time. It is a very strange feeling because for myself, I actually lost my father on New Year's Eve and my mother a couple of weeks before Thanksgiving. There's actually right here, hopefully this doesn't flip it around. This is my biological mother. She passed when I was 10 days old, and in the middle is my uncle, and to his right is my aunt. And they were sisters, and when my mother died, my aunt and uncle raised me. So when I say I celebrate Kwanzaa, it's my aunt and uncle I'm talking about that I grew up celebrating with. And so even though I was very young when my real mother died, all those things come up even when even now and things like this. And I'm saying this because there's all kinds of losses. There's all kinds of losses people have gone through. With my dad, New Year's Eve, it was tough because you're in the hospital at the holidays, and it's like a really strange feeling. If those of you have gone through it, everyone's talking about their plans and their Christmas plans, and they're fighting over who's going to do what, and everyone's kind of in this mood, and you are just in the center feeling like the world is just stopped for you, and you're kind of like, how come everyone else is like going on and I'm like in this hell? And you kind of feel like you're on your own, like you're just like in this world. Everything has moved into slow motion, and everyone's like dee. And now that I've gotten older and more experienced, and even when my mother died a few weeks before Thanksgiving, I remember feeling the same way. But I understand now a little bit, that I'm older, that people sometimes they hold on to tradition and these types of times because there are people who have passed in their life, and they want to kind of hold on to that. Think of people who make dishes from their grandmother, and that grandmother wants to honor their mother. You know what I'm saying? So we are kind of holding on tradition to remember those who are no longer with us. And that's why it doesn't really quite matter to me what people are celebrating or not celebrating, because whatever makes you feel connected. And that's what this video is about. How do you feel connected? And it is also about grief. So I would say to you, when you are going through this time, you have two choices. When people come up to you and they're like, what are you doing for the holidays? Or I remember when people would ask, what are you doing for Mother's Day? And my mother had just passed. I'm like, nothing. So you have two choices to like go the route of wanting to connect, because believe it or not, if you told someone, oh, listen, this person passed and it's kind of a weird time, most of the time people want to share their story with you. They want to go on and tell you how they feel and who they lost. And that can make you either feel annoyed because you're like, I didn't really want to comfort someone else, or you might feel like, hey, this feels kind of nice because I'm connecting. So just kind of gauge your mood. Like, to ask yourself, do I want to get into this before I answer this question? Do I want to feel connected to someone? Do I want someone to understand my pain? Or do I want to like be left alone? And so don't apologize for it. And so if you don't want to say anything, don't feel guilty like you're not honoring the person who passed. Believe me, they understand quite fine in the other realm. So that's one thing about grief. When you're dealing with grief around this time, please honor it in whichever way works for you and whichever way you feel like you can get through this time. Because the other part of it is you're being reminded constantly. There's cards and there's movies and there's songs and there's everyone talking about their mother and their father and their children and their this, and anyone you have lost. It just constantly reminds you of what you and who you have lost. So it can be very painful and difficult. And that is why I'm doing this video, which, by the way, you may be thinking, Adela's putting out a video at Christmas? Wow, crazy. Well, this is the time actually where I actually help people quite a bit, because it is a very difficult time for a lot of people. Through all the joy and all the pleasure, there's also a lot of pain. Sorry, I was going to say plan, but no, pain. I've been reading a lot today. So I want to get to, how do you communicate with people in this time? Okay, here's the deal. You guys know me. If you haven't watched me, then you know you can have access to that realm anytime you want. There is no special day for them. There's no time, which means there's no dates, which means they are not attached to those things. However, what happens is around this time, you're thinking of them an awful lot. You're even talking to them an awful lot. You may be baking something or making something of a recipe of theirs and saying, oh man, how did you used to make this? Like, you are very aware of them a lot. So if you're getting signs from them, it's not because it's so special to them like this time. It's because you need it and they hear you speaking to them and they hear you wanting to feel them. So pay attention to those signs, and when you get them, I got your sign, that was awesome, keep them coming. Talk back. If you are someone who's into doing altars and into doing ancestral altars, go for it. If you I tend to put something out and I put food out and I do all these things, go for it. That if that's what makes you feel connected to them, and this is what your belief is in, that you want to do this type of thing to honor them, then go for it. But honestly, at this time of year, the reason why you may feel a presence more, a lot of times people do, is because you're being more conscious and aware of it. So there is kind of an energy swirling around that everybody's talking about past families and people who have passed and people who have moved on and all this kind of stuff. And so everyone's being acutely aware of the other realm. So I just want to say that because people tend to think, oh no, are they going to be upset I didn't make this, or I didn't go to home for the holidays, or I didn't, do this, or I didn't do our tradition. No. They are very interested in what helps you, whatever helps you. If you say, I just can't do it, I just can't handle it this year, I just have to lock myself in, they're good to go with that too. So you don't have to be at the house or the restaurant or someone, Aunt so-and-so's house or your house or whatever to go, I'm not going to hear from them, I'm not going to feel them if I don't do all these exact things we used to do when they were alive. They're not attached to that. Feel free to just do your thing that you need to do. They are able to hear you and see you just fine. They're only trying to get you to know that. That's all they're doing. They're like, how do I get them to understand I hear them and see them just fine? So With that said, I just want to say when it comes to speaking to them at the holidays, it's really no different than any other time. However, it may feel really good to pull out that, ornament, or to pull out that menorah or Kenora, or the nothingness that your mom and dad never did because they were atheists. Whatever you do that reminds you of them helps you to connect to them. Okay? It's not like they are needing you to do this. It's more like your heart starts to open, you start to feel, and you start to want to open yourself up and connect to them. All right? So be kind to yourself. If this is a difficult time for you, it is for many, many people. And the reminders can be difficult, but at the same time, remember that they are a part of everything you're doing. Remember that it's kind of like the internet, that they are always accessible to you whenever you want to log on. They didn't disappear, they didn't leave or go away, and then now they're back because it's, around a certain time. And allow yourself to feel that and allow yourself to connect to that. And take care of yourself and try to get the small little joys, even through the grief. If you find any little thing that you can hold on to make yourself feel joy. And if you're actually having a strangely nice time and you've lost someone and you're saying, oh, this feels strange because in the past I felt sad, it's okay. Don't feel guilty about it. That's why talk to them. If you want to write something to them, if you want to speak to them, if you play music and you just want the music to take you and connect to them through that energy, if you look at nature, but allow yourself to feel. All right? Thank you guys so much. Okay? I feel like I'm doing some weird special with my mug and I love how my little Santa my Santa wizard is next to, if you can see, it's the Death of Afterlife book, and and the Day of the Dead type of people here. I like that. All right, guys, so much. Thank you guys so much. Sorry, I had a little glitch at the end. Thank you guys so much. Have a great time, whatever you're doing. I'm doing a special, by the way. My special is half off of all readings. It will be good through after Christmas, probably going into midnight the 26th to honor the first day of Kwanzaa. And yeah, that's 50% of all my readings. You go to daylevine.com, and gift certificates. And the code for the readings is holiday. And the code for the gift certificates is gift. Listen to my podcast, The Witch in the Medium. Follow yourself, follow no one, and see you soon.